great Friday or Saturday, whatever it is, and we're starting, and they're off.
They're off.
Dash Wowega indeed.
How many good boys are in chat?
Not enough. But, yep. As the story goes, we wake up on a table. That's how I feel every morning. And then we're off running. DK's off the PS4 isn't showing the directory. I've actually noticed that if people stream off the PS4 for whatever reason, there's like Bloodborne and Bloodborne TM and as set games on Twitch, and you can actually not put in the directory.
Yeah, but if you change it while you're streaming, like you have to change it once you start streaming, and then it'll update it and put you into the Bloodborne category.
Oh wow!
So or a mod can do that. Yeah, I figured that out on my first playthrough because it was doing that to me as well.
DK turned his audio up and threw me for a loop.
Oh, is it really loud?
A little bit, and DK goes down to the Clinic Wolf / Axeman combo.
All right, I'm switching to Romanticore's volume, so
go for it.
Let's see, you have to let me know how audio is, chat. This seems good.
Seems good indeed.
I didn't even want to say. I wonder if anyone's gonna die to the wolf because I didn't want to start the commentator's curse.
I actually saw a T-shirt earlier today. It was called "Commentator's Curse," and I go, "Oh God."
That was your fault then.
I'll take it. I'll take it. But anyway, here at the beginning of the run, we grab two weapons. One's the main weapon of the speed run. The other one is used just for one skip. And even if you miss it, it's not a big deal. But it's honestly one of the first things when I was trying to learn speedrun is you try to look up how to do that, and there's no documentation on how to do it. But literally, you just get to the spawn spot and smash X.
You just have to be fast enough. So only the realest of the speedrunners can get it.
If you fail it,
the fake ones have to go run past in the sewer to the pig.
Actually, yeah, unfortunately. Actually, you can buy the Kirk hammer after you kill Cleric, but Kirk hammer.
That works too, doesn't it? Who did that? Who did that in the run recently in the tournament?
I think I missed that one. It might have been Soulsborne? I don't remember. But anywho, you go to the Dream, get your weapons, and off to the first skip, the infamous sewer skip. Saves about 40 seconds not running through the sewers. There's a quit out version and a non-quit out version, but you'll most likely see the quit out version in most instances. Neither is really faster than the other. Maybe that no quit out's a smidge faster, but it's not too big of a difference there. Pretty much you just got to make sure you don't break the boxes on your jump. Looks like Roman's successful on the first half. He gets through on the tightrope that is the fence.
Nice Romanticore.
Some days they put extra oil on that thing and you can slip off.
Penetrate that bell icon. Like and subscribe. See if ztheDreamKing got it too. Because his quit out looked a little far left. Oh no, he's good.
He's good. Just gotta line it up. Make sure the good boyo at the end doesn't bite you, and his breath pushed him off. No worries though. We got Roman here at Gascoigne, the first mandatory boss of the run. Good opening backstab, Molly. Pretty much the strat here is you want to get visceral states on Gascoigne with backstabs or parries, and then throw Molotovs for double damage.
Blood. Oh, it sings to me.
We fight him here on the stairs because his bullets have some type of weird vortex into nothingness. And that is a textbook fast Gascoigne by Roman. Very nicely done.
Very nice.
Easy peasy. But yeah, as you saw, he was doing backstabs and mollies. Actually, when you throw the molly when he's transforming to his beast stage, you actually can, if you time it correctly, get a double damage on the Molotov, which is obviously fast. So,
how's Romanticore's audio, by the way, chat?
Yes, please give feedback on the volumes if we need to change them.
Romanticore treated Gascoigne like he does the subscribe button.
Very, very true.
Seems a tiny bit loud. I can turn it down just a little bit.
All right. Gascoigne's being a little bit of a hecker against DK. Being a little wild. No worries, though. Best thing about Bloodborne is the rally mechanic. You get hit, you hit them back, and gain your health back. Easy peasy. But tends to an aggressive playstyle. Ooh,
Oh,
DK
no.
goes down to Gascoigne. That's never a fun way to start the run,
No, it's not.
but it's definitely very early. Anything can happen.
He can always grab a couple more of the mollies as well.
You're a bad what? Oh, take this.
Well, if he did, he'd have to go back down the stairs.
Oh, that's right. I was thinking like before the wolf. I was trying to think where, because I know in all bosses always
That's
don't
any
grab
that's
those.
any percent.
Yeah.
But yeah, Roman's just making the quick work down to Old Yarnum, grabbing some fire paper from my boy Alfred. The doggos were good, so no worries there. And actually, DK is going to grab those mollies, as we said. And he's going to grab peach vials as well.
It's a good idea, probably.
Yeah, very good idea.
Like a refresh.
Oh, he didn't. I retract. He didn't grab the mollies, just the vials.
Oh, he still has 2 mollies though. Okay. I couldn't tell if how many he had used. Did Romanticore grab the lamp?
I actually wasn't paying attention.
Me either. I was looking at DreamKings.
Great. Look at us. But Roman's going for the second skip of the run, Old Yarnum skip.
The new Old Yarnum skip.
The new Old Yarnum skip.
The
Many
more
different-
mature, fresh.
Yes,
Wait, no, the younger.
more hip.
Yeah. More.
That's what we're going for. But anyway, you do some strategic parkour on another railing. Grab these beast blood pellets will be a vital part of the speed run. Oh, don't break those boxes, DK.
Alright.
It's always scary going for sewer skip a second try because you have dogs that are aggroed, which can break your boxes. But he did a good job there. Roman's.
Oh, he didn't even need to quit out.
Roman doing fine. You think he's still got the wolf on him though? Whew.
Yeah.
Finally to the door. Nicely done. So we got the second boss of the run for Roman. This is BSB, Blood-Starved Beast. You're going to see why he's blood-starved as we throw these blood cocktails into the corner. It's the
DK got this.
normal strat. Very nicely done, DK, on the sewer skip. Gascoigne's not too different with the fog wall. Some bosses here in Bloodborne, if you mess it up the first time, it's going to be a lot more difficult, but luckily Gascoigne's not one of those bosses. So you can just kind of go back, run up to the stairs and do the same thing. And Roman makes quick work of BSB, and I'm assuming he did not grab the lamp because it's marked out. So this would take him back to Cathedral Ward, where he can continue on to the the Abandoned Hunter's Workshop. All right, DK's in here at Gascoigne. Still phase 1. And really what you're trying to do with Gascoigne is you're trying to really delay. You don't want to see his second phase. It's when he pulls his axe in the two-hand form like you just see here. He's a lot more scary in that form. But he's still susceptible to backstabs and parries. Then he goes to beast form. You can get a backstab off on the transform if you don't do the double molly. Alright, and he's past Gascoigne. Very nicely done. Grabs his echoes and to the gate. Very nice. Now he's not going to be. DK's going to appear a little bit further behind than he actually is, just because of the quit outs on sewer skip.
But it's still early.
Very still early. And Romans is now in the what it appears to be the dream, the player's hub, but it's actually in the real life or the dream, or I don't know. Time's convoluted here, as always, in a Miyazaki world. But more or less, you're go there to pick up one of 3 umbilical cords, which are consumed or in some way, shape, or fashion. I don't like to say they eat them because that's kind of gross, but you have to consume all 3 to fight the final secret boss. And you also grab the doll set, which sells for 35k echoes, which is the currency. Pretty sizable amount early on.
And with spoilers in chat.
Always spoiled.
He didn't do first try ladder. I'm gonna assume that's what that was for.
Probably so. Get these hackers spoiling stuff. But anyway, he just did ladder warp. That's kind of a newer strat now. It's you pretty much are tricking the game to think you're on a ladder when you're actually not. So the game thinks he's on the ladder right now, but he's running around killing bosses and such.
Well, and since Bloodborne, if you quit out in Bloodborne, the game will save your position. So that's basically how you're able to do that. You quit out after you kill Amelia, and when you load back in, it'll put you at the ladder.
Yeah, and that saves roughly about 21 seconds as opposed to running down. So pretty easy. Amelia is the 3rd boss in the run, as we're seeing. She's pretty much a scripted boss fight, meaning you can just pretty much stagger lock her with stagger her limbs. Each of them have like a poise HP, as it were. And you can pretty much just do a strat where you go around her in circles, staggering each limb. And found by QTT6. And it's pretty standard. And if she attacks back, you messed up.
If she attacks back, it gets real scary.
Yeah, Amelia's a scary boss to fight. Very nicely done.
DK coming up on...
He's doing the older version of New Yarnum Skip.
Okay.
Or older. Oh my gosh, I'm getting the olds and the news confused.
He's doing the mature version. He's doing the old Yarnum Skip.
Yes, which is a little bit slower, but it's quite a bit safer. As in, if you fail, you will not die like you would in on the newer version. As in the other one, you came off the building just to the right there. This one, you pretty much just fall down into the bridge right there.
How much faster is the new one compared to the old one?
Don't quote me. It's I will like to say a couple less than 10, but 12 seconds, like 12 according seconds. To a Hattie. That's if you do it all optimally. Because there's different versions of the new one. You can do a plunge setup and such.
The safer version.
Yes, very much so. And DK's on his way to BSB now. Roman's on his way now to the Forbidden Woods. He just grabbed some Twin Blood shards, which are the 2nd tier upgrade material, which will allow him to go +4 on his upcoming level up. And right here, you're going to see him pop the golden pendant, which if we actually watched cutscenes in Bloodborne speedruns, you'd see that Amelia was holding that. And it will give you a gem, which gems that we haven't really talked about are a big part in the run. Pretty much way to augment your damage further. But the gold blood gem is unique in that it has beast percentage up towards beasts, which is primarily used for Parl, which will be the next boss Roman's fighting. And he was lucky with that werewolf. He's sometimes a nuisance. He can actually kill you on your warp out. Very nicely done, BSB by DK. Easy clap. All right, Roman's in the dream. This is where we do our first level ups and kind of we have about 3 times in the run where we come to this dream and do a significant amount of stuff. This one we'll buy some Molotovs, sell the doll set we picked up earlier. Using our 16 insight, which is a secondary form of currency, we'll buy our tier 1 upgrade materials and then level up to 2519 strength and skill and level up our weapon to +4 and kill the doll because She deserves it. She talks too much. That was one of the first things I really had to learn when I started speedrunning is, hey, you don't talk to her anymore. You just kill her. Feels bad. But
DreamKing on his way to get the umbilical cord in the doll set.
And Roman is getting smacked by an enemy. It's a rip. Get some F's in chat. Whoa, Enduritize.
I feel like that took him so long to kill Romanticore.
That's a concern. Yeah, I don't... Jokes aside, that is a scripted death. We always like to joke, haha, Run died, but it's actually scripted. It's the one death you'll always normally see in a run. That's why you won't ever see a deathless speedrun unless you're doing later Parl. But the reason we come to this area, get killed, it's actually faster. You can, when you kill the next boss Parl, you can actually gain access to buying bolt paper, which makes Shadows and ROM significantly easier. And with that gold beast gem we got earlier, we can do the same thing more or less we do to Amelia, stagger lock Parl to death. This is somewhat of a newer Parl strat, a little bit about 2 seconds faster than the older one. Using what this hex has found is like limb damage. When you break a limb, you can actually do more damage to it, and hence why that strat came of a thing. And nicely done by Roman. How do you get 962 damage? If you're getting less than that, you're probably hitting the head or neck. You want to hit the staggered limb 3 times there. And DK is entering Amelia.
He had some problem. It took him a while to get the ladder glitch. Ladder warp.
Yeah, ladder warp is actually, it's not like, it's the timing is kind of strange. It's pretty much immediately after you'll press the, you can do any type of animation, trick, a gunshot, a healing vial, but more or less you cancel, the grabbing onto the ladder. And it's kind of a tight timing, but once you get it down, it's not too bad. And Romanticore's now came back now to the Forbidden Woods. So he's going to be on his way to Shadows, which is kind of the first roadblock. Very nicely done by DK. Right through Amelia. This is kind of the grab materials portion of the woods. Grab some more Beast Blood pellets. Those pellets are right there. The reason you'll never see hut skip normally in a all bosses run. We've seen it a few times now in the tournament. Usually after a Shadow's death, unfortunately. But
yeah, as a backup to get there faster.
I hope to never have to learn it.
It's not terrible actually.
The setup.
It's kind of fun to just know.
Yeah, definitely such. I didn't stick with 80% long enough to learn it, unfortunately.
Well, I learned it because I thought it was. I didn't realize, how much material you get from the woods. And so once I realized how much you actually need from the woods, it's just like, okay, I wanna. And you don't really need it, so you need a huge time save anyway.
Yeah, you can get a sub 30 pretty easily with the quote unquote old route.
Yeah.
Without Amelia or hut skip. But you just saw DK pick up a second gym. We didn't really talk about that one. That's I believe, 7% increase in your damage, and it has also 2.6% HP when you're up percent when your HP is at full. And if you look at Roman's screen, you'll see the gold and the orange to the right of his item slot. Those are the items that signify that when you have those buffs. And so you can kind of for the next 2 to 3 bosses, you'll having that attack up for at full health is pretty nice, pretty comfy. And Shadows, this is kind of the first big roadblock of the run. It's a 3 AI fight.
That was a good opener, though.
Very good opener. Strat is you want to kill the mace, what we call the mace guy first. He can throw projectiles, which is kind of the reason we want to get rid of him first. Because projectiles are harder to control than melee.
And he has the lowest health pool, doesn't he?
I believe so, yes. That was a very clean
That was
Shadows.
a very, very nice fight. Holy cow. I wonder... That was a very nicely done fight. And after you kill the second one, stagger just R1 and let him dot. The final shadow will go into an AI loop where you can just R1 attack him once and he'll dodge, and you can rinse repeat, and then easy peasy. And DK on his way to Parl to go get killed by Cathedral Ward, excuse me, to get killed by the Bagman. Now this is one of the scariest skips in the run, especially early. Oh, nice, Roman.
Roman nails the Lunarium key skip first try. Very nicely done. Usually, if you miss the YOLO, as you saw there, you can just quit out and still get it. It's a little bit slower, but that's the way you want it to go right there. And now for the second in the what I kind of call the first gauntlet is Rom. See, Shadows, Rom, and Reborn are all a pretty early difficulty spike in the run. This one, Rom's not so much the boss as the spiders are. But once you clear them, as Roman's done, you can start wailing on Rom because she's not going to attack back phase 1. Gets a backstep. Get some extra damage in there before we stagger her on the teleport. Leaves her with just a sliver. Now luckily we know usually where she's going to spawn, so you rush to it. One hit, easy peasy. Very nicely done by Roman. Putting on a clinic right now. And DK's just now entering Parl. He's going to do the quote older version of Parl, where you're going to do kind of use the head as more of a visceral point. Slightly slower, I think 2 seconds slower than the newer strat, but it's a little bit more consistent. And very nicely done. So Roman's now entering Yarogul, which is a pretty scary area. We're going to see him do a quick aside to go grab a key item called the Upper Cathedral Ward Key to get to, you guessed it, Upper Cathedral Ward. And also grab some chunks on the way, which is a tier 3 upgrade mat, which will help us get to +9 from pretty much go above +6 to all the way to +9. And then the skip upcoming that Roman's about to do is the reason we do Parl early, more or less, is because we do not want to do this skip twice, which is the Yarogul skip. This was found by this hex as well. It's pretty much where you are abusing collision on this railing, and you're going to skip a good portion of Yarogul. But it's scary because you can die if you're not executed correctly by either the jump or by the 2 guys he ran by to before he executed it. But
he was quick about it, though.
Very clean. Roman, as we said, Roman is oh, I forget now. Roman is one of the top runners in all bosses. He's currently 6 on the leaderboard with a 107.15, and DK has a 111.39. And DK actually just PB'd about 8 days ago, so he's been on tear as well. And you're going to see now Roman's going to go for this. There's a blood gem right here behind this wolf. This is a, I believe, 18% increase, which is one of 3 final gems.
Huge increase in damage.
And this gauntlet right here he's running through is the scary part, because these guys shoot projectiles at you, and they can, at 10 vit, which will be more or less through the entire run, it can do probably be at 90% of your health if you're hit on a counter hit. And now we're at 1 Reborn. This boss is quite scary if it goes incorrectly, because you got projectiles floating at you, fireballs, bodies falling down.
You want to keep them staggered though, as long as you can. But the fireballs can really prevent that sometimes.
And DK entering shadows right now. And very nicely done by Roman. DK has the shadows grouped up in the corner, which is kind of scary. Their AI kind of derps out in this corner, from my experience. But it's kind of scary to have all 3 clumped on you like that.
Yeah.
And
I feel like it never goes well when people have them all clumped up in the corner.
You got to be pretty lucky. And very nicely done by DK. Oh, I spoke a little too soon. We got the back swipe. There we go. Nicely done. And after 1 Reborn, you kind of you touch Mikalash's head, and you're transported to the lecture hall, which we will return to later, and then we kind of just run on through there on our way to Nightmare of Mensis. And Roman's approaching what it will be the 2nd level up of the run. After we kill this, I believe it's called Wandering Madness, or Crystal Lizard equivalent if you played Dark Souls.
Romanticore splicing.
Yeah, there's a little hiccup there.
Nice to go back to the dream and do some more shopping and leveling up. We all saw that splice.
He's getting DDoSed.
Easy rice. You killed your waifu again.
Yeah, DK had to go for the quit out version of Lunarium key skip here, which loses a few seconds, but it's not too big of a deal. Same. Oh wow, that was a late load in on Rom.
Yeah, I was wondering what he was doing.
I was wondering where she was, but
I looked over and saw him like looking to the right.
But in that 2nd level up there in the dream, Roman's going to go 32 strength, 25 skill, and upgrade his weapon to +8. And now he's going to make the trek through Nightmare of Mensis on his way to Mikalash, our favorite memer. While DK makes work of the spiders and onto Rom. Fun fact, Rom will not teleport until you do 1,060 damage to her. And sometimes she'll backstep there, which actually gives you some free extra damage before you stagger her and go for her first teleport.
You should be good, yeah. Nice, DK.
Very nice. And you go for... And it's always interesting, the instant teleport. I think it's because of you're supposed to run to the Queen Yarnum to trigger the cutscene. Well, I think initially she's actually under the map, and that's where her default spawn is. And if you get there right as she's supposed to move, it'll actually give you that initial position for that teleport, which is pretty nice. And Roman's, grab these elixirs. These are very comfy items, which sometimes we wish we had more of. They more or less make you semi-invisible, which more or less, you know, as you're running by enemies and such.
There's just like a delayed response from the enemies.
Yeah, having them not alerted to your presence as quickly is very, very nice to have. But those are going to be used about 3 to 4 times throughout the run. But we grabbed those 2 because they're right there on the way. And Roman's going to be entering Mikolash, which is like a two-phase fight with a little break in between. DK grabs the upper cathedral. Very nice. Ooh, very, very nice.
Will we get the double Swedish?
We will have to see and find out.
Hopefully, maybe.
The Roman goes into the room, aggroes Mikolash, says, "I don't want to fight you in there. Come out to my hallway, into my office." He somewhat complies. But in this first phase, Miko really only has 1 attack. He's going to be shooting little tentacles at you. Just got to step side. Little, well, they get pretty dang big.
So they're pretty big. The hitbox, anyway, is pretty large.
Makes easy work of that. In our little downtime in between phases, we go down here and kill another lizard or Wandering Madness for some more upgrade mats. And then make our way up past the Blue Man group. And the second part is kind of neat little strat in that you will see he does not get the double Swedish luck, and we call it Swedish because it's faster, and no one ever gets it except for on the god in practice, you know. The neat little strat where you do this plunge here. And you trap him from going. He's trying to go into his little room, his own office. You're like, nope, you're staying out here with me.
And the gate closes, so then you have to find another way in.
Yeah, you usually have to go all the way up and drop on him, and then you have to wait for the gate to open after this cutscene. Which, like, this is the reason it's faster. You get to start running towards the next boss before, you know, the cutscenes even plays, which is very comfy.
Speedrunning time. It's like 1,000 years waiting for that gate to open.
It feels like forever. But very nicely done by Roman. DK's on his second half of Yargul. On his way to the 18% gym. He's going to elect to throw the blood cocktail in this situation. Usually you'll have 1 cocktail at this point. You'll either use it at this point or at the lizard right after Reborn or the lecture hall. It's kind of a personal preference. And Romanticore is on his way to grab what is the last gem we're going to pick up for our weapon. I believe this is another 18% gem. But you have to run by these, what I call Yum Yum Brains. They inflict a status called Frenzy, which is probably the best mechanic in the game. And that's 100%, 110% sarcasm. It more or less takes, like, I believe 70 to 80% of your unprocced, which is, ooh, DK got a limb explosion. One Reborn claims another victim. I believe last year, One Reborn claimed like 25 to 28 runners.
It hasn't claimed that many. This one has it?
Not near as many thus far. We're still,
that's true. There is still a lot to go.
A lot to go.
Yeah.
But dying to One Reborn, as we kind of talked about earlier, this boss is one that is a little bit different aggroed. He will be, when you approach him in the initial, to engage. Normally, on first engage, he won't turn. But this second go around, he's going to be looking at you, and he's going to turn, which makes it a little bit harder to get that first stagger.
And the witches are activated already as well.
Yeah, which the fireballs are unnecessary nuisance, but we have to deal with it because speed. And Roman's here now at the final boss of the any percent portion of the run, which is Wet Nurse. Pretty tanky boss, but pretty easy to dodge for the most part. You just run up behind her and wail on her. All the while, you get to hear a crying baby in the background. Not distracting. And she gives Roman a teleport, which is not the end of the world. And it looks like she's going to be going for the nightmare phase.
But he just went through it. Killed her.
Yeah, but he's just gonna beast his way through it. No pun intended. Very nicely done for Roman. DK is now entering one reborn, aggroed. A little bit scarier. Now, really, the big scary part of this is you need to grab is the echoes on the floor, which you'll see right underneath reborn. This is a section where you really you don't want to lose those because you really need that level up.
Oh, he got him. Blood echoes retrieved.
Very nice.
Okay.
If there's any spot in the run where losing your echoes could be like detrimental, this is the gauntlet. This little 3-boss run from Shadows to Reborn. And nice cleanup by DK. That's not easy to go into Reborn aggroed, so very nicely done. Roman is now on his way back to the lecture hall. He just upgraded his weapon to +9 and slotted the rest of his gems, so he's got a big damage boost again. And now for one of our favorite skips, lecture hall skip, which is saves about 15 to 16 seconds from going all the way around to the end of the lecture hall. And third try, I bet he'll take it. Usually you can do it about 3 to 4 times before you lose. You start losing time. And Romare, oh man, it's a long day. Roman is on his now way to Amy G, which is a kind of a early to mid-tier optional boss. And you're going to see just how fast, with a almost fully upgrade, you can power through some of the middle of the run bosses. And this is a pretty neat little skip found by Dank Oyster, which is a Nightmare Frontier skip. Normally, there's an elevator right there, which you'd activate at the end of the level. Jumping down that hole, you'll usually die. But Dank Oyster found that there's a little rock that you can fall on that pretty much just a little drop, but it ends up making it so the fall isn't lethal. And Roman elected for an R2 setup, which you'll see a lot of runners do a sit-down gesture there. But makes it pretty easy. And it saves roughly, I believe, 36 seconds. So another pretty sizable time save there. And now we're
died to the Wolf and Gascoigne newbie, and then one Reborn.
And that was a boss. We can thank Ivan for those strats.
He killed the boss by the time I finished that sentence.
Yeah, pretty fast. Only takes about 8, or what's that? 1, 2, about 6 hits.
And then who was it? Pinkman and a Hattie made it just a couple seconds faster. I don't know if they were using it. I wasn't paying attention a couple days ago.
Yeah, there is actually, within the last week, or even fewer than that, there's kind of been a modification to that, where that charged R2 at the beginning normally will just do stagger damage, kind of the same as Ebrietas later in the run. But DK was actually the one that brought it up to a Hattie And
oh, okay, Dream King. I was thinking Pinkman because of the Z. All I can remember it was a Z.
But actually, DK brought it up to us the other day and said, "Hey, you can actually, get damage on that hit and save a couple fractions of a second. Really, it's not extremely much faster, but hey, you'll take anything if it counts, right?"
Yeah.
And you'll see Romanticore. We're running back through the first area of the game, Central Yarnum, going to what could be the first boss of the game. I know it was my first boss when I played.
It was my first boss too, yeah. First optional.
He got me quite a few times. He's scary on that first playthrough.
I beat him on my first try, and it made me overconfident for the rest of my playthrough.
God gamer.
No, it made me overconfident for the rest of my playthrough.
Oh, this was easy.
Yeah.
But you'll see some pretty. This is what happens when you're fully upgraded against a beginning boss. 6 hits, easy peasy. With some newer strats, if you level up right before Cleric Beast, you can actually now get him down to 5 hits, which is a significant time save, if I may say so.
Alright, DK coming up on Miko. And Romanticore doing some more leveling up.
He's going to do the final level up of the run, which looks like he's going to be doing 44 strength, 25 skill now, which is a relatively newer strat. We used to go 34 strength, 35 skill, which you lose with the new 44, 25, you gain 8 overall AR, but you lose visceral damage, which if you take a riposte and plunge your hand into them and shoot them out, that's a parry riposte, and you lose a little bit on that because those scale with your skill level. But the run generally doesn't use those parry riposte anymore. There's only a few bosses, so it's actually makes a couple other bosses a little bit more comfy. Very nice first phase for DK. We're going to see Roman. He's going to be doing the cave skip, which is, as you guess, kind of passes kind of a little section here of the Forbidden Woods. You don't normally have to run around past the dogs. That saves roughly 16 seconds. But it's pretty scary because on that drop that you saw him do, you can either soft lock and or die, which I've been trying to learn that recently, and it's more precise than it looks. I got stuck there quite often.
Yeah, I still haven't figured it out. Like, I can sometimes, but more than often I probably won't try it. Alright, DK got the drop, and we should be good. Yeah. Miko's down for DK.
Nicely done. Textbook. Roman's going through the ladder portion. I know you guys love ladders. But it's over now, I'm sorry.
It's over now.
But wait!
There's more.
There's more! But this one's somewhat scary because you got a brain sucker kind of nipping at your heels. If you elect not to heal there, you can get hit and die, and that's not a fun run back.
No,
it only took me it only took me once to learn to heal there.
Yeah, those brain suckers, they do a lot of damage.
But if you'll see here now, that bench right there was the one that we started the run on. But you grab right there, that's a key item that Canehurst summons. It's going to allow us to go to a later optional area. And we're going to go grab the last umbilical cord, piece of the umbilical cord. We got the second one from killing Wet Nurse. Forgot to mention that. DK making quick work of the gem pickup, which that's a kind of a scary section because you have echoes about between 55,000 56,000 echoes, which you're going to use for a level up. And you can die there, but it's not what you want. Because then you'll have to do an additional level up later if you want to get the optimal level ups. And Roman's now done with the woods and cord portion, and he's gonna now be heading to the upper cathedral ward, which we grabbed the key for earlier. And DK's on his way to Wet Nurse, doing a quick run. He's going to be grabbing the the third gem.
Mbasa.
For the Basa indeed.
That startled me.
I was like, wait, what is that? That's
same.
Actually, fun fact, that's actually Gascoigne.
Really?
It's actually a deleted sound file. He was supposed to say Umbasa, and they ended up taking it out of the game. If you've ever played Demon Souls, which is the first FromSoft iteration of Souls, DK gets the swipe opener. Nicely dodged, though.
I always thought that said muscle, is what I thought it said.
Muscle. That's what you like to hear at the gym, right?
Yeah. Muscle.
But yeah, that's what one lady says. Man, that was scary by Roman. He got shot and then hit by the brick dude.
So that's what Roman pretends everyone says to him when they follow him. Muscle.
Muscle.
Muscle. Oh man, I kind of wish you never would have said that. I really like thinking it was. Muscle. I mean, shoot.
But DK, if you just saw, he did a nightmare phase skip, which was found by Oldard, which allows you to, if you dodge twice on the AOE of her putting her little orb in the air, you can actually dodge the nightmare phase, which is like 45 seconds. Which, very nice for the speedrun. DK had to pop an extra paper. His pellet ran out, but he still made pretty good quick work of her. Very nicely done. And you'll see here Roman's doing what we call the orphanage key skip. Oh, I was clenched there for a second. I've died. You can actually die to that brain cycle, believe it or not. He can skip you. And yeah, you don't want to do this run back because the optimal strat is you do not do you don't grab any lamps up here, so you can jump right back to the cathedral ward. So dying in this area is not fun. And you're going to see him go ahead and grab the what is the Cosmic Eye Watcher badge, which allows us with insight to buy more Beast Blood pellets, which is, as we said, you've seen pretty much every boss been used on except for Cleric because his real name's Derek.
Yeah, very important in the speedrun.
Mm-hmm. All right.
Imagine dying in this game at all.
Yeah, imagine. Except for they both already died, at least to this Bagman. And Roman's going for YOLO Celestial Emissary.
That was giving me some anxiety. He was like in the corner and they were all coming up behind him.
It's sort of scary. Because those little jelly beans can hit quite hard.
Romanticore's coming up on Evie, who is normally a very scary boss. In the speedrun, they make her look too easy, almost.
Yeah, as kind of a similar thing as what we did with Amidala earlier. You're gonna actually get her right one hit away from stagger before her health bar even shows up, and that way you can just, as soon as the fight. Oh, he actually went too early. This is This is what we're talking about. You can actually stagger her too early. This is makes her a little bit scarier, and that is.
Well,
I feel like I'm responsible for that. I'm sorry. Sorry, Roman.
I feel semi-responsible.
Yes, things just got a little bit more interesting. But
Yeah,
we talked about it. You can do damage to the boss before her health bar shows up. Well, what Roman did, he actually went a little early, and it staggered her before the health bar shows up, which is a scary thing. So now he's gonna have to run all the way back up there and actually fight her aggroed, which I will say, of all the bosses that can be aggroed, Ebby is one of the scariest. Because she does pretty much DLC type boss damage. But it is recoverable. The only scary portion is you're kind of limited on supplies at this point. This is a resource-heavy run.
Yeah.
And if any more mishaps, and we could be in.
He can always go back to the Forbidden Woods and pick up a couple more pellets.
Yeah, there's definitely some backups.
Obviously a lot not as fast, but if he needs it, there are things he can do. Yeah,
like he can go back to the dream because badge.
Yeah.
Wonder if he'll take the lamp. He did not take the lamp, so we're gonna have to see him run all the way around because there's a gate right there you can open, but normally you don't plan on dying, so you're gonna have to run all the way around again. And DK's just on his way to cleric. It's actually kind of astounding. Like you'll run through this area at the beginning of the run, and say you get shot by one of the guys with the rifles. If you get shot, the damage you take as compared to the beginning is like, it's phenomenal. You'll take it. It's like they just tickle you at this point in the run, as opposed to the beginning where it takes probably 40% of your health or more. And that's because your player's defense stat actually increases with every level up, which is pretty comfy for this game. And Roman elects to grab the lamp up here. So,
well, I mean, I guess dealing with Ebby aggroed.
It's not a bad idea.
No. This is scary though.
Yeah, and you have to pull up the elevators, both the one at Cathedral Ward and this one.
If it is aggroed, yeah, she's.
Looks like DK is going to go for 44 strength as well. And we're going to see him go do the woods portion where you go grab the cord and what.
So he has one pellet.
Alright, one pellet in the dream. He's going to pop a bolt paper for some extra damage. Alright, you get a head slam, which is a pretty good opener. Now you can probably going to see him he gets a stagger here. Oh, he's kind of stuck in between her in her butt.
Her fins.
Her fins. She should go into her changing form.
Okay, that was not nearly as bad as I feel like it could have been.
Alright, that was a very clean recovery by Roman.
Yeah, it was.
And he's going to elect to grab the lamp down here and port back to the dream. He's actually going to keep some echoes here. Oh, I didn't even notice. Did he pick up his echoes? I don't know if well, actually, he wouldn't have any.
I can't. Sometimes when I'm I can't see like their echoes or anything. Like I can't see the small numbers on their screens. It's always really blurry when I'm watching on the restream thing.
Same. I need glasses.
I have my glasses on. I still can't see it.
But yeah, he could have marked out there, but he would have just gone right back to that lamp he grabbed earlier. So he'd elected to just port straight back to the dream and back to Cathedral Ward here, where he will now be on his way to the DLC.
Such a good animation to enter DLC.
You just get crushed. Ugh. And this is going to be pretty much the final part of substance in the dream portion. You're going to see him up by the blood rock, which you can actually find out in the world, but it's slower, obviously. So you're going to use, you need 60 insight to buy the blood rock, which I think is available after Wet Nurse. And you also grab some pellets and a blue elixir. And one thing we hadn't really mentioned is insight's the secondary mechanic. You get it from finding new areas, beating bosses. Well, there's a beast meter when you use beast blood pellets, and it actually gets smaller as your insight grows. You know, you can't be a beast if you're smart, apparently, according to Bloodborne logic. And every time you see people insight dump, you'll see he's now running around without a popped pellet, but he actually still has a beast meter, which is actually means the less insight you have, the more damage you. And we'll get in some more like mechanics for the beast meter later on in the DLC, which is kind of nifty. But this is kind of a run around port. In the early DLC, we're just kind of running around, grabbing a key item here, dodging some enemies there. You're actually going to see what is the final DLC boss here at the beginning. The irony. But he's not going to aggro, he's just chilling. You're going to grab that out of his hand because he's asleep. Lawrence has got a wicked hangover, he's just sleeping it off.
Taking a snooze fest.
Mm-hmm. And DK is now finished up with the woods portion. He's gonna head up to. Hopefully, he has a little bit better luck. I probably just cursed him there. I'm sorry, DK.
I heard you hesitate too, like to finish that sentence.
I was like, oh man, commentator curse. It'll come back to bite me tomorrow. But another thing we haven't really mentioned too much. You'll see occasionally runners will do quit outs. Bloodborne, there's runs on partial quit outs for the most part, which means you can do quit outs as long as that you're not canceling any type of animation, like a door or a lever or an elevator. So you can do them in any other portions when you're not canceling animations. And resetting quit outs reset enemy position. Pretty nice in certain circumstances like that one, where you can reset the enemies to not be blocking your way in the door. And in DK's instance there, so they don't blast you in the face with a rifle.
Romanticore's using a blue elixir here. We were talking about earlier.
Yeah, this is actually pretty much required in this section of the DLC because there is a hunter just to his right there. And if you do not have a blue elixir, he will shoot you and hit you until you can't climb no more. He actually got a double gunshot there, which is kind of unlucky. But he manages. And we're going to be coming up on what's probably one of the most iconic bosses in Ludwig. Make sure you watch because he's going to be gone in a flash. The all bosses route makes him quite a joke.
Yeah, I honestly hate like how little you actually fight him in the speedrun. Like, obviously I understand why, just...
Yes, you just do... Oh, missed the stagger, and he's going to elect to quit out, actually. All right, so this is going to actually reset Ludwig. And it's actually probably a smart move since he did not grab the lamp beforehand.
Yeah.
And Ludwig's is pretty much the same with a fog wall, so it's not a big deal. Just losing some resources. But yeah, Ludwig can pretty much one-shot you with He's actually got more beast meter here. I wonder if that will change anything. All right. Not. You can actually run away from that attack. Not too bad. Looks like he's going to get through phase 1 just fine. All right, he gets the second phase stagger. See if he can power through here.
Yeah, he gets bullied pretty hard in the speedrun.
Not even concerned at all. And DK elects to do not YOLO this area. So he goes ahead and kills the jelly bean ads. A little bit slower, but a lot more comfy. That was kind of interesting, though, and you'll actually see that I mentioned it in that he had more beast meter. Roman did on that second Ludwig attempt. It's actually going to be a mechanic we actually use to our advantage later on 2 bosses. But you can actually quit out and keep your meter even though it's not activated yet, and you'll see that later on. Let's see, DK is now at Ebby.
Okay, he did it.
All right, he did it the intended way, which you wait to have the HP bar show up right as you do the stagger. And she puts her head down and R2, R1, R1, R2 finisher and mark out. Very nicely done. And you just saw Roman do another quit out. Which, that quit out was who's a acclaimed DS3 runner who came to Bloodborne for a little bit and found out that quitting out there is actually faster than using elixir and running around the other way. Because these guys, while they are blind, they can still find you, and they hit like a freight train. Very nice. That candlestick boy that Roman just jumped by, he's actually like probably the closest thing you got to a sub boss that doesn't have a health pool.
Yeah.
He's claimed many lives.
Romanticore's doing.
Roman's going for research hall skip. I hope Ender-Ties is watching.
Oh, he jumped too early.
Unfortunately, I believe the elevator staircase is going to be still in the down position, or up. Excuse me, up position. Right? No, up. No, it's down. It goes up.
It's going to be down. Yeah, it'll be in the down.
We go down. It goes up.
Yeah. Forgot the skull, so you went for it for a joke. Yeah, good joke, Roman.
All calculated.
Roman's putting on a show.
Roman's now going for the. This is the key item we need for Lawrence, which we saw earlier. And a lot of times in races, you'll see us grab the skull early in reset attempt runs. You'll see us grab that after Orphan, but it's a little bit comfier to grab it early, so you can grab lamps and not have to come back to this area later. Oh, it is. The staircase is up. Interesting. Not a big deal. You just kind of grab this elevator, and it'll put you pretty much right where you need to be. And now Roman is about to fight the living failures. Insert your "this is me" joke here. Now, you thought the Celestial Emissary was a jelly bean? Steroids. They got pumped with a lot of sugar. They're a lot bigger and they hit a lot harder.
These guys are so scary.
So once you get through the beginning, it's almost smooth sailing. You can pretty much just spawn camp And especially with the new 44 strength, 25 skill strats, you can actually save a couple hits. And this is an attack that you don't count on, but you get some cosmic hail coming from the other side of the arena. It's kind of scary.
We got him though.
Very nicely
gonna
done.
put out here. What I was talking about earlier, we'll keep the beast meter.
Yeah,
and gives him some more damage on Maria.
That is a strategic quit out right there. Because no one wants to fight Maria. We don't want to let her play. Because she can be uncooperative. And since Roman grabbed that early skull, he's able to grab that Maria lamp. Very nice lamp to have, especially if things go south during Maria, which hopefully won't happen. Normally doesn't. Unless she throws out one certain attack. You'll hear her talk about a hyper armor attack, which a lot of Bloodborne bosses pretty much get, her especially gets staggered on one hit, but she has an attack which can pretty much says, I don't care about you and your attacks. And it kind of messes up the strat a little bit. Roman elects to back out on the phase 3 change, but still gets her down. Very nicely done.
Oh, DK getting charge attack from. I wasn't paying attention.
Now, when Ludwig does that jump attack, it's actually, you can just run away from it and not get hit, which is nice, and you can get a head stagger normally. So it's not the end of the world if that happens. We saw that happen as well.
Nice phase 2 from DK.
Yes, DK doing very nice to dodge the attacks. He gets the head hit. Very nicely done.
Oh, Romanticore going for that lamp too.
Grabbing all the lamps.
After Hattie defended him and said Roman doesn't grab lamps.
You're going to see, again, Roman's going to pop a blue elixir here. This is a, you don't need an elixir on this portion, but it definitely makes it a lot more comfy. Because some of these fish enemies, they got fishing spears they'll throw at you.
And with having base vitality here.
Yeah, we haven't really elaborated on it, but anytime you're running or an attack, you'll take what's counter damage in this game, which is, I like to joke that it's a 300% increase.
Seems like it. But yeah, it's a lot. Counter damage in this game is pretty...
It's pretty insane, and especially with Beast Blood pellets and having only base vitality, 10 vigor, things hit hard and can kill you in 1 to 2 hits easily. And Roman's electing to go back to the Dream and buy some more pellets. I didn't notice if he was out. I'm assuming so.
Yeah, I think after
having to use an extra one on
that's on Evie. Yeah.
On Evie. Go ahead and grab those now, because normally in the run you'd anyway right after, which is the next boss for Roman. He's going to go ahead and do a slope quit out here, which is we call the Hamlet skip. Which slope quit out more or less means you're falling down the slope, and the game doesn't know whether you're on the ground or you're dead or not. So it kind of it's still thinking about it, and you can quit out on when your feet hit the ground before the game says, hey, you're dead, and you can spawn into this out of bounds area and skip more or less most of the fishing hamlet. And
Romanticore will be fighting him the faster way.
no cheese here, guys.
That was a little monk ass. DK was like stuck on the wall and rolling.
Yeah, and now that guy's on his butt. So Orphan's arguably one of the hardest fights in Soulsborne, but usually you'll see the speedrun pretty much make quick work of him. He's pretty unique in that you can pretty much backstab almost all of his attacks, which you'll see the speedrunners abuse. And then we get an early Phase 2 transform. You never want to see Phase 2 as a runner, because Phase 2 is scary. But you can still stagger lock Orphan.
That was pretty good.
Which you saw Roman display 100% cleanly. And he's going to go ahead and take the lamp back to the dream, where he's going to insight dump. And potentially use those echoes for levels. We'll see.
Get some peach vitality, maybe?
Some peach vitality. You're going to see Roman going ahead. Oh, going to like not to do peach vit. DK's coming in on the failures. Usually you just get a parry, L1, L1, L1. This guy, pretty easy to kill him. And the spawn camp begins.
I guess really the only thing you have to watch for when you're spawn camping is there's the one that'll spawn like where he's like facing, and it'll shoot a ball of like magic towards you. That right there.
Yeah,
and that will one shot you. If
you're in counter state, it will one shot you very easily. Very nicely done by DK though. It's actually kind of nice though. You can actually, if he strafes to what would have been DK's right, you can actually have him behind the tree in the middle, and then it's like nothing's even happening.
Yeah.
Which is the best way for all that to go down. And Roman's approaching the very last boss of the DLC now. Lawrence, we saw him earlier, but he's finally gonna wake up from his catnap. This is another more or less scripted fight now, using strats that Falcon House developed, which more or less you get a head stagger, and then you stagger the legs and arms, and pretty much delay him going to what is his Phase 3 until he has only about 15% health left, if that. And that was textbook Lawrence. Very nicely done. Didn't even get to see him really attack.
DK's on Maria.
Ran out a little bit of stamina there. He's going to have to fight her Phase 2. Got a nice parry off. Alright, she's going to go to Phase.
And she's done.
And she's done. He didn't even let her get to Phase 3 AoE. Very nicely done. Some scripts tend to be corrupted, indeed. Alright, so now there's 4 bosses left for Roman, and 6 left for DK. Roman's on his way to Hemwick, but she's going to fight the witches, and then off to Canehurst with Lugarius. And this is kind of a long trek. You'll sometimes see runners do this portion early, what Roman's running right now, early Hemwick, which after Amelia, you can actually not grab that Grand Cathedral lamp and run all the way down here to the Hemwick lamp and grab some extra bold hunter marks so you can get some additional level ups. It's more of a quote-unquote peachy route, but doesn't really lose you any time. It's just kind of scary when you're running through the area Roman's in. If you have more than 15 insight, you'll see additional enemies. It's one of the few mechanics you'll see with increased insight. And the dogs are nipping at his heels like he's the mailman. These guys don't hit that hard in Singularity, but get you cornered, they can mess you up pretty quickly.
DK going for the lamp before Orphan.
Yes, a lot of time you'll see most of the runners grab this because Orphan's like we said, he's one of the toughest bosses in the game. Things can go wrong quite quickly if you miss a backstab or mistime a dodge or what have you, or if you get instant lightning in the phase 2 transition. But if I know DK, he won't go for the cheese either. He'll be fighting him Orphan legit as well. And I actually was fiddling with it earlier, and you can kill those little. And I was hoping that you could build Beast Meter on it, but it's not the case. I tried. I thought I had some insane new tech.
They're just fun to kill because they scream.
Dang, Effie. Alright, giving favorable attacks here for DK. Alright, then you got the YOLO combo, which is a comfy thing to happen. If Orphan jumps back, you'll end up seeing DK do a butt scratch, which is more or less a using an item you can't use or don't have in your inventory, which at under 60% health, I believe, it's Orphan will do a jump, a scripted jump there. Usually works at least once.
Orphans.
Ooh. Almost got a lightning there. Well, not, he got a little, almost missed the backstab. And as quickly as that happened, Roman has downed witches.
And he's going to quit out there, and when he loads back in, it'll put him at the entrance. One of the witches.
Yeah, because it's kind of an interesting deal. It's because there's a room past that boss arena, so after they die, it'll become a normal room, which if you quit out there, you would just stay in the room. But if you time it correctly and you're on that, port you out like it was still the boss arena, but you'll still keep the kill. And now Roman's gonna use that Canehurst summons. He summons the chariot and like the what was it? Take it the princess off to the ball, as they say.
Going to Logarius. That's the princess.
Yeah, that's the princess. This is an optional area, like Canehurst. A lot of people don't way through because you have to. It's pretty cryptic on how to get there. But still not sure if a Hattie's ever found it.
I don't think so.
You don't think so either? I don't think so either. That's why he has such fast times.
Between the splicing and not fighting Logarius.
Heckin' cheaters, man. You're gonna see DK come up on Lawrence. Like we said, scripted fight, but scripted fights sometimes can be corrupted. I won't lie. Once I learned the Lawrence strat from all bosses, it made me. I'm not a big fan of Lawrence casually, so it makes me happy every time I get to kill him and mow him down.
I didn't have too hard of a time with him on my casual playthrough.
I just never have tended to do well with large bosses.
Well, yeah, I feel like at first too, especially when it's more like the camera you're fighting with.
Oh, most definitely. I was a lock-on enthusiast until I started running. Then you learn just how valuable having your camera not locked on is.
Yeah.
But very nicely done by DK. And Roman's on the trek. This is actually, I would argue, is the longest run back of the game. So dying to Ligarius, especially with it being right before the final two bosses, is never a fun time. I would say it's at least a 3-minute run back. And that's without the elevator. There is a shortcut, but you won't see runners grab it a lot of the time. Meek Lash is longer.
Because the fight takes longer.
That's fair. Those are the two longest for sure. I still want to talk to the architect who designed where, all this, like running on rooftops to get to certain areas of your castle, like you really need to go back to school.
It was very weird. The layout to get to him.
It's like, oh, jump on this roof when it's snowy, and you'd probably slip off if in real life. What kind of shingles are these? But Ligarius is, I would say, he's later game, but you'll see for the most part, with all the stats we've accumulated throughout the run, you'll see us mowed through him pretty quickly. But he can still hit like a truck.
Or he can throw out his skulls at you.
And you're going to see us go for a backstab on the phase 2 transition. We've got a sliver left. Dodges the plunge. Very nicely done. And that was Ligarius. How did Ligarius actually get there? I think those Nazgul dropped him off or something. Or whatever it was, the Lord of the Rings Eagles, whatever they're called. There's no way he climbed up there with those old bones.
Well, he has magic. He flew up there.
Perhaps. He repelled upward. So we saw Roman get some Peach Vit right there, right before Garamond and what will be Moon Presence, the final two bosses of the run.
I thought we were going to hear muscle again. So it sounded like for a second.
Muscle.
No, it has to say muscle.
We'll have to ask him. And missed the parry. That's kind of odd. With the different topography, like different heights of the arena, you can sometimes get some wonky stuff happen, like missed parries and such. And that should be a wrap on Garamond. And we're going to see DK going for the, like we said earlier, a pretty dang quick boss fight. It's literally 5 hits on each witch at this point. And now Roman fighting the super secret boss.
Eating the 3 umbilical cords is what gets you this boss?
Yeah, that's why we grab those all throughout the run. She's going to hit us with the 1 HP attack. And this boss suffers from the stagger mechanic as well, and GG. Nightmare has been slain, and to finish the run, you can quit out as you get those echoes. And that's a wrap for Roman.
GG Romanticore.
Now we won't know the winner until both are done, just because we're going off of IGT, but we will see. And
there it is. Muscle.
Muscle. I can't tell.
Is it 1:14:09?
Something like that.
1:13:42. Are you serious, Buttons?
Siri.
No, Siri.
Is it 14 flat? I can't tell.
I thought it said 13.
A little hazy, but I would say 114-ish. I could double check.
I'm serious.
As DK's on his trek to Ligarius as well.
Oh, just a 114 flat. I thought it was like 114.09 is what
Yeah,
it looks like.
it's 114 flat. How did he get those? How did he get those? I saw that hiccup right before at the beginning of Nightmare Mensis.
We all saw that hiccup. Clearly spice splicing for that 114. I don't know how to invite him without hitting finish or done or whatever for his. How do you say done without calling him the winner?
You can. I can send him the invite.
Okay. Oh, but, I need to switch to DreamKing. All right.
But while we have this little downtime as DK is running to Ligarius, we'll give a quick shout out to SpeedGaming for hosting our tournament. They've been gracious enough to host our tournament and have been great hosts. Great to have a partner like that to help us, bring everybody together in one spot for these tournament matches. Also, shout out to Speed Souls, which many, if not all, the runners are a part of. Just a group of people that are passionate about Souls speedrunning. For us, Bloodborne in particular.
For setting it up.
Yeah, and thank you, Newbie, for setting it up. It's really been a treat, this tournament this year. It's been a lot of good matches, and yeah, it's been a lot of fun being a participant myself and seeing it from the other side. And thank everybody that out comes and watches every race. We wouldn't be here without y'all. All right, let's see DK beat up on the old grandpa.
We can invite you if we want, Romanticore.
If you want.
If we want.
I sent you an invite, Mr. Roman.
I didn't agree to that.
All right. The one scary thing here, is you can sometimes get.
Oh. Man.
And I jinxed him again.
What happened? Oh no.
Didn't get the backstab because he went up against the wall.
GG Romanticore.
Hey, thanks. I know you're probably not happy about it.
No, that's good.
DK will have to do the long run back up to Ligarius. And GG Roman on your run. That was pretty clean.
That death against the brightest, that was so embarrassing.
That was just
like
a split second.
I know.
That's how close the timings are in this game. You don't notice it during casual watching, but just little fractions of a second can mean all the difference between a win and a loss. And it looks like DK is going to do Gehrman, and
he's not going to kill Ligarius?
I don't think so, which would
he's pulling out
that would be a
toast strats by killing Moon Presence?
Unless he would. Yeah, and also the research hall skip, that was interesting, Roman.
I've never done it before, so I was like, I'll just...
You almost had it.
I was too far to the left. I was like, oh man, I forgot the skulls, so I might as well do something that will send me back to the elevator.
Nice strat.
Must accept your death. Be free.
Oh, he died to German. Did you have DK's run up?
No, not at all. Not until the end when I saw people saying like,
Yeah, he died to the wolf, then he died to Gascoigne, then he died to One Reborn.
I almost died to the wolf. I was like 1 HP.
And I think DK is accepting defeat.
Yep, it says that he has.
GG DK. Still a good run.
Yeah, still a really good run. Let's get him in here as well. I don't know if I have him. Where's he at on?
I think when you hit done, it should automatically send an invite. I think.
It should. I'll see if I can find him though, real quick.
Yeah, it just sent me an extra invite.
Oh, it did?
Yeah, that's what.
Yeah.
Trying to find people in thousands and thousands on Discord.
That was the only place you died, wasn't it, Evie?
Yeah. Oh, I died at the skip, the one I was just joking around trying to get.
Oh, well, yeah, I meant like boss-wise, like.
I almost died to Ludwig again, but I quit out.
I was actually surprised with the extra meter strat sub.
Yeah, I didn't expect it to just stagger it right
Yeah, you
away.
got a one-hit stagger on the leg, which kind of threw you off, it looked like.
That's the second. I always messed up Ludwig on races for some reason. I was like, I'm not gonna let him kill me because I'm not running all the way back.
I mean, it was a strategic quit out, which actually was a pretty good.
Oh, DK's not joining.
I don't know why people say that's an interesting strat. It's like, what would you do? Would you quit out or would you rather just die? It doesn't make any sense.
Well, thank you, DK, for participating.
Yeah.
Come on.
Sorry we can't get you in here, but it was a good run.
I wanted to
And you're not going home just yet. You will be facing KC Smurf in the next round.
Is Romanticore going up against?
And Roman will be going up against Ivan. And it's round 3 matchup. So that will be an interesting match.
Wait, who am I going against?
Ivan got number 2 and 3 in the board.
The rematch. Ivan, the rematch, because I went against him last tournament.
Oh yeah, when you forfeited?
I didn't lose a single race in the last tournament. Shut the fuck up. Listen here.
It was very good
Can we ban Effie from ever commentating on these things?
Oh.
I don't have those powers. But no, that was a really...
That should be good, though. That'll be a good race to watch.
Yes, that'll be a very good race to watch. And so that will conclude the second round of the winner's bracket. So now we've got round 3 coming up, which will be Roman and Ivan. And then Pinkman versus myself, which will be tomorrow. My match with Pinkman's tomorrow. And then we've got quite a few matches upcoming. We've got a Hattie versus Giant Cookie Jar, which will be Sunday, 3 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Thanks for that, guys. And then another one at 3 p.m. Mama Souls versus Enduratize.
2 of them on Sunday. Nice.
Yes, we got 2 on Sunday. And then we've got the Natty, DJ Natty himself, the DJ Natty versus Alma.
The one and only.
On Saturday, May 25th at 5 a.m. Thanks again.
Those are all Eastern times.
Yes, those are all Eastern Standard Times. How is the Hattie going to run all bosses without if he can't find Ligarius? It's a good question. We'll have to ask him. We'll have to figure it out. We'll have to ask him another time.
I'll have to splice in DSP's playthrough when he finds Ligarius.
There you go. But that was a very good race. GG Roman.
GG both the runners.
Yes, GG and DK. That was very good to the end. Dying to Ligarius is never fun, I can assure you. But That's why we do the tournament, and thankfully, both these runners will continue on. It's a double elimination tournament, so still anyone's race. Or tournament, rather.
Who's DreamKing going up against next time? Casey?
Yeah, he'll be going against KC at a later to be determined date.
Sick.
The next Bloodborne race is tomorrow at 10 a.m. Eastern. It's zthePinkman and Curious Peanut.
It'll be interesting.
Come on, Peanut. I can't cheer for either one of you because y'all are two. I like y'all both the same amount.
I like you all both.
I like you both equally.
I'm not gonna be like a newbie when I cheer for one person and be like, oh, I hope the other one loses.
Well, it will be an interesting match. I can assure you of the four and the winners that I am by far the slowest. So we'll just have to hope for a miracle on my end. But that's enough about that. I got practice to do for that. But anyway, thanks again, everybody, for watching. It's been a great time, this tournament. Thanks again to SpeedGaming. Thanks for Speed Souls for, allowing us to share information and just be a nice, hearty, fun community. No toxicity.
Thanks, Newbie. Thanks, the runners.
Thank you, Newbie, for putting on this whole tournament. We would not be here without Newbie. So please, if you guys get a chance, thank him. And thank you guys for watching.
Yeah, everyone have a good night.
Alrighty. See y'all later.
See ya.